Hi guys, and welcome to the channel. So if you're new to the channel, thank you for joining me. If you're a returning subscriber, I love you, so thank you very much as well. So what I'm going to show you today is basically an affordable version of a brisket. So I can't always afford or want to cook a huge, 20-pound brisket. So what I tend to do is use a tri-tip but cook it like a brisket, and that's what we're going to do today. So just follow these nice, easy, simple steps and you too can get these great results. So the first thing we need to do is to trim up this tri-tip.
I got this one from Stour Valley Game and Butchers. Go and speak to Darren down there and he'll sort you out.
So it's got quite a big fat cap on here. I don't want all that. And also on the very top you kind of got this kind of tough sort of skin, and I don't want that either. So I'm just going to trim this up and then we'll come back. Okay, so this is all now trimmed up. You can see I've left a little bit of fat on the top of some of this. Now that's all nice soft fat that's going to render down. Now if I just flip this over, you can see the tri-tip is made of two muscles. So I'll show you this way so you can see better. So you can see here you've got the grain going across, and when you slice it you need to slice across that grain. If you go with the grain you're going to have really tough bites. Even if you cooked it perfectly, it'd be tough soul boots. So you need to make sure that you slice it across. So the next step is to season this up. So I'm using Lea Perrins, I'm using their Worcestershire sauce, and I think this just imparts that extra bit of flavour on this. This isn't going to be a particularly long cook. If you're not going to, it's not going to be a 12-hour brisket. You're not doing anything like that. So it's going to be a lot shorter. So that flavour that this Worcestershire sauce imparts should still be present at the end of this cook. I'm always of the view that every single step you do, everything you do, has to add flavour, has to do something. Otherwise, why are you doing it? Okay, so that bit's done. And I'm using Sure Shot SIDS here. And this stuff I use on all my steaks, and it is incredible. I love this stuff. In fact, I don't use anything else on my steaks now. This is the only thing I use. And because it goes so well with steaks and so well with beef itself, I'm going to use it on this tri-tip as well to make sure we get that beautiful bite and beautiful flavour at the end. And because it's got activated charcoal in it, it should help make a really, really nice bark on this. So I'm not going to go too heavy on this, just going to give it a nice even coating. Flip it over, do the underside. Okay, that looks good. Right, so this needs to hang out for the next kind of 15 minutes to make sure this rub is adhered really, really nicely, and then we'll put it on the smoker. Okay, so that's had 15 minutes and that rub has adhered really nicely and started to draw out the moisture just like it's meant to. Time to stick a meter probe in it, and I'm going to stick it roughly in the middle. Today I'm doing this on the offset, and I've got it running at 275, and I'm going to maintain at 275 throughout the whole cook. We're going to cook this to internal temperature of 165, at which point I'm going to wrap it in butcher's paper, and then we're going to take it up to an internal temp of 200. I'm going to go slightly shy of the 203. This hasn't got as much intramuscular fat as a normal brisket would have, so I'm just going to do it a little bit shy and give myself a little bit of wiggle room so that when I rest it, it should come out beautiful, tender and moist. So I'm going to lay it fat side down because my heat is really coming from below, and I'm going to put the thicker part towards the firebox, and we'll check on that in about an hour. Okay, so checking my meter app here, you can see it's been going for just over 2 hours, and the colour on this is looking spot on, and it's hit about 165, so it's a really good time to wrap it. So So look at the bark on that, that is looking stunning. And if I get my Inkbird out, about 167. So this is now a perfect time to wrap it. So let's take it out and do exactly that. Right, I've got some butcher's paper here. I've got a little block of salted butter. I'm going to put the tri-tip on here, and then we're going to add the butter to it, wrap it up, job done. Right, let's go and grab it. So I've got my gloves, but I've also got my heat gloves underneath. Now look at that, that is looking so good. Look at the bark we formed on that. That is looking so nice. To do a 2-hour cook and to get that level of colour and that level of bark in it is fantastic. I'm well happy with that. So before I wrap it, I'm just going to move this meter probe, because where it is going to pretty much knacker the butcher's paper. So I'm going to slide it in at an angle so it shouldn't catch the paper too much. So before this cools down too much, now remembering, whenever you take anything like this out of the smoker, you're probably going to lose 10, 15, even 20 degrees, and so you have to kind of like work pretty quickly, because you want to kind of like minimise the amount of work you've got to do to get this back up to the temperature you want to do it. And the reason I'm adding some little cubes of butter to the top of this is to basically put some fat back into the actual meat. It's rendered out, I mean most briskets, they render out about 40% of their weight by the end of the cook, and this is a lot smaller, this piece of meat, so I expect it to render out percentage wise quite a bit. And what this butter's going to do is just add some of that fat back in, and also some of that moisture back in as well. So in order to wrap it, get the butcher's paper, move it along a little bit if you need to, but I'm looking to do this first wrap, a bit more actually, butter's falling off, it's good, means it's up. Right, so I'm looking to do that first wrap just there. Then what you do is that you fold in the edges, and you want this to be nice and tight. So by running your fingers along the crease, it just makes this butcher paper a lot easier to work with. So again, right along, crease it, get your thing, wrap it out, roll it over, give it a pull so it's nice and tight. Wrap this in a bit more as well, so it's good and tight. Wrap it again. And with this last bit here, you can see it's not going to go all the way again. So what we're going to do, roll this back, fold that underneath, and then put it back down. And that is ready to go back in the smoker. So let's do that before it gets too cold. Okay, so my meter probe's telling me that it's reached 200 degrees, so it's time to probe this and see how it's doing. Remember, we're going for probe tender, not just internal temperature, but probe tenderness. So that's hitting dead on 200, 201. So that is, to me, done. And when I'm going in and out of this, there is no resistance whatsoever. That is just like butter, there is literally no resistance. So, time to take this off, and we need to rest it probably for a good half an hour maybe. It's not a big piece of meat, but I don't want it steaming hot when I slice it, because then all that steam means all that moisture is coming out of it. So let's take this out and we'll rest it for about half an hour. Okay, so this has been resting now for about 20 minutes now. I couldn't wait the full half hour. I'm really hungry, and this is for our dinner tonight, so I could not wait any longer, and it smells amazing. So this is my favourite part. I'm wrapping one of these and have one of those juices. Oh, it's literally like the best thing ever. Oh, look at that. That looks incredible. And let's slice it up. See how we did. tell you, that is moist, it's tender, it's got a beautiful smoky flavour on it. Oh man, that is amazing. That Sure Shot Sid's gunpowder rub on that, the smoke, the bark of that is amazing. Shows you don't need a 9 kilo brisket to have an amazing piece of beef just cooked exactly like a brisket. This is perfect for a family, and we're going to have this for a roast now. So I hope you enjoyed this. Please don't forget, if you liked it, give the old thumbs up. If you loved it, please subscribe to the channel. There's loads of videos on there now. I'm on Instagram and Facebook, so please come and find me. And don't forget, any comments, any thoughts, leave those down below, and I'll always make the time to reply to your questions. Until the next video, hasta